Hi everyone, and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 5 of my best bets for tomorrow's racing at Ascot and at Newmarket. We'll get stuck into those selections in a minute, but before we get into those, I just want to do our quick recap on how our picks ran today. We just came out with a small loss in the end. Our only profit today was from Solomon Gray, who finished in 3rd place. Advertised as my next best at 10 to 1 yesterday evening. Ran a good race, I thought, for a long way, but in the end just wasn't good enough to win. But still, it was a nice run, and it was a pleasing effort to see him coming back to somewhere near his best, because he'd been in the doldrums for a little while, but hopefully he can be competitive again in future races. So Solomon Gray ran okay. Unfortunately, our Longshot became a non-runner. That's the second Longshot in consecutive days that have been a non-runner. Brad the Brief on Thursday, and then Star of the East today. That was a little bit frustrating there, because literally we didn't get a run for our money, but obviously we got our money back, so nothing to worry about there. And then our Nap at Market Raisin was higher prize for Emma Vale and Adam Wedge. No complaints really. Was well found in the market at 3 to 1. Track the Pace was up there with Brandon Castle throughout, and then he did hit the front at one point, but he just didn't have the gears to kick on, and in the end it set up for those off the pace with the likes of Red Force 1 for Paul Nicholls, and I thought he was quite a snug winner in the end. So that's how that race developed. And then in our other selection started off in the opening race at Newmarket with our Theorem Fable for Oisin Murphy and Brian Meehan. Did nothing wrong, no complaints again. Finished in 3rd place, wasn't too far beat, but just bumped into 2 nice handicapped horses that will probably go on to better things and probably will be a strong line of form in the future. So yeah, it was a bit of a frustrating day, but all in all it wasn't disastrous, and hopefully we can do a little bit better tomorrow. But we're going to be starting off with our first tip tomorrow, which runs in the 3:15 at Ascot, and all our tips tomorrow are going to be pretty much within an hour of each other. All my 5, they're in a quite compacted space of time in tomorrow's racing. So yeah, you might want to not stray too far from the TV between 3 and 4 tomorrow. But yeah, our first tip tomorrow comes in the 3:15 at Ascot in the Summer Mile here, and I'm going to take a chance with Mohaather now. He's just going to be an extra tip tomorrow. You can back him currently at 2 to 1 with bookmakers at the moment. Now I really fancied him to win the Queen Anne at Royal Ascot. If you've been following me since then, or even earlier, you would have known that I was quite sweet on his chances, but he was probably the unlucky horse of the race. He hit so many traffic problems, he just didn't get a run, and it's such a shame, because Jim Crowley was aboard that day, and that was the start of the period where he was getting plenty of winners on the board, and I wasn't backing any of them, but I did back Mohaather. And yeah, it was a real shame, because he was the one that made up the most amount of ground in the last furlong or so. I've always thought he was a Group 1 horse for Marcus Dragon in this Mohaather. He won 2 Group 3s earlier on in his career. He won Group 3 Horse Hill as a 2-year-old at Newbury, and then he won the Greenham Stakes first time out last season as a 3-year-old, which is normally a 2,000 guineas trial. But unfortunately after that he had a slight setback, and that meant he missed most of last season. But then he returned in the QE2 Stakes on Champions Day at Ascot, and he finished in 5th place, and that was a really credible effort, because he travelled into the race really nicely, and he probably just showed that he probably needed the run, and he was up against more fitter horses on the day. So yeah, Mohaather, you know, I think he's definitely a Group 1 horse, or capable of winning a Group 1. Marcus Dragonen's team have been okay since the resumption of racing in the UK. They've had a few winners. They were going through a few nice spells in the last few weeks. So yeah, the horses are running well, and I think this is definitely a winnable race for him tomorrow. And he's definitely the horse in here that I think could be capable of winning a Group 1. Dane O'Neill's booked instead of Jim Crowley. That's not too much of a negative in my opinion. I know some people aren't Dane O'Neill's biggest fan, but I think he's alright. And I just think Mohaather tomorrow's got a good chance in this race at Ascot, and I'd be really disappointed if he didn't go close. So he's going to be our first tip of the day, and you can currently back him at 2 to 1. Now we then go to my long shot, which is going to run in the July Cup, the 3:35, the only Group 1 tomorrow. We actually won this race last year, you might remember, when I put up 10 sovereigns. and hopefully we can do it again tomorrow. Now, 3-year-olds have normally been the way to play in this race the last few years. They've got a good record, but I'm going to be taking a chance on one of the older boys tomorrow. Now, before I tell you who that is, Golden Horde, obviously you've got to respect him, really, because he did win that Commonwealth Cup very nicely, and he definitely looked like it definitely looked like the vibes were true, that he had grown up and filled into his frame, definitely had developed through the winter, and was really a beast of a horse. Because if you saw the pre-parade ring shots, you know, he definitely looked a great physical specimen, Golden Horde. But I thought he won the race nicely at Ascot, but I'm just I think he's a little bit too short in the betting, in my opinion, and you can currently back him at 2-1, 9-4. I think there's a few other contenders that have got good chances in this race. You have to pay respect to Hello Hume Zane. You know, like, was very, very good to win the Diamond Jubilee. You know, won the Haydock Sprint Cup last year, who I actually did put up when he won that race. But yeah, I'm not with him again tomorrow, you know, because I'm actually going to be taking a bit of a fly on the wall here. I just got to feel that this race might go quite quick, and it could set up for a closer, and that closer I think that could run a good race, and is a massive price in my opinion, is Dancealot at 33-1 for Gerald Mosse and David Ellsworth. So, and I know some of you are probably thinking, what the hell are you going with this horse for? Well, his last effort at Newmarket, he went into my notebook on that effort, because he finished 4th behind L'Amato in what was actually a bizarre race. I can't remember the name of the Godolphin horse now, if I remember it correctly, but he went off like a steam train in front. And yeah, he just basically set it up for the closers. But Sir Dancealot got into a little bit of traffic, and it was Sean Levy aboard that day, and he barely gave him a flick with his whip. And yeah, he stayed on so strongly, and Sir Dancealot normally comes forward for his first run after a long break. And even though in the last few years he's been a solid contender over 7 furlongs, he's won 4 Group 2 7 furlong races in his career, I just think he's still capable of going well at this trip over 6 furlongs. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if this was the plan for him since the resumption of racing. He actually finished 4th in this race back in 2018, so it's a course that he's done well at in the past before. He's actually a previous course winner on the July course. And with that course experience, the eye catch and run last time out, and him likely to be doing his best work late on, you can currently get 4 places on this race at 33-1, and I think that's a massive price. And with a few question marks over some of the rest in this field, I just think 33-1 isn't a daft price. And I think he should be a bit more respected in the market. I would think he should be more of a 16-1 shot instead of a 33-1 chance. I can see why some people might think the trip might be too short for him, but like I said, I just got a feeling that there's quite a lot of pace in this race tomorrow, and if they do go a little bit hard, I think some of those coming from the back could definitely get up in the final strides, and Sir Dancealot could be one of those horses that's flying home. And like I said, he really was eye-catching last time, so I think he's got a good chance tomorrow. It's a bit of a left field shot, but I'm going to take a chance with him as my long shot. So that's going to be my long shot in tomorrow's racing. We then go back to Ascot for the next race there in the 350, and I'm going to take a chance with Stone of Destiny here for Rob Hornby and Andrew Bolden in the colours of the King Power Racing Group. Now this horse is currently 10-1 with bookmakers at the moment, and you can get the extra 5 places on offer. Now this horse is back down to a mark of 96, which looks very attractive, as if you go back through his form, he won his last win, came off a mark of 97, and that was on Shergar Cup Day over the 5 furlong course. And you drop him back to 5 furlongs tomorrow, which I think will suit. If you go back through his last run, he finished 6th in the Wokingham Stakes at Royal Ascot. He ran all right, considering that he probably was on the wrong part of the track. And the second place horse, Summergand, who you might remember we put up as my nap on the final day at Royal Ascot, who just got done in the photo finish, has come out and won at Pontefract since. So the form's starting to build up. And I just think this isn't a particularly strong race compared to last time. And with Stone of Destiny having a good course record at Ascot, made the frame many times, previous course winner, and can stay that 6 furlongs, you know, I definitely think he's going to be hitting the line hard. And he's not got a bad draw as well. He's in stall 14. I think there's 20 runners, so he's going to be towards the right side. I always think he should be towards the stand side, and I say it most of the time when I've always given my analysis of Ascot on the straight mile course, you know, for these big handicaps. I'd rather be here probably 80% of the time. I think it's always a benefit to be high and to be towards the stand sides rail. I'd only say about 20% of the time that I've seen in recent years that you want to be low. So yeah, for me, I think Stone of Destiny tomorrow in this race with Andrew Bold in great form at the moment, has got a great chance of going well, and he's just going to be one of my extra tips tomorrow. We then go with my nap, which runs in the 4:10 at Newmarket in the Bunbury Cup. I'm going to take a chance here with my nap tomorrow being Vale of Kent for Frankie Dettori and Mark Johnston. Now, Mark Johnston team in really good form at the moment. They've already had a couple of winners at the Newmarket July Festival, and this horse actually won this race last year with Frankie Dettori aboard. And Frankie Dettori, when he's booked for Mark Johnston, you really got to sit up and take note. They actually had a winner with Cape Coast on the Friday, which was today, on the card there. So they're always a bit of a hot combination when they do team up together, Dettori and Johnston. And this horse has really improved since winning that Bunbury Cup. You know, he's been a solid handicapper. This season he's put some valiant efforts together. He finished 4th in the Royal Hunt Cup at Royal Ascot, where the form has worked out well because the first 2 in the market have again gone in to finish in the first 2 in a nice handicap at Sandown last weekend. So that's pretty good form. And you can back this horse currently at 14-1, and I think that's a ridiculous price. I think he should be one of the favourites. Now, I know he does have to carry top weight tomorrow, but that doesn't bother me at all. If you actually go back on his last run, I thought he ran pretty much nearly a career best effort when he finished behind Safe Voyager in a listed race at Epsom. Now, I know it was a listed race, but Safe Voyager is better than listed class. He's definitely capable of potentially at least placing in a Group 1, you know. Safe Voyager, he's definitely really improved as a horse over the last couple of years, and it wouldn't at all surprise me if he actually ever did win a Group 1. You know, some of you might think that's bonkers for me to say, but he ran really well in the QE2 last year. And if he's ever going to do it, it would be on soft ground, you would probably say. But still, nonetheless, you know, that was a great effort by Vale of Kent, I thought, to be not far beaten by a horse that's run very well in very top company. Vale of Kent, yeah, he's off pretty much nearly a career high mark. But if he runs anywhere near that level, you know, he's going to have a massive chance, and a lot of his form has been stacking up. So for me, at 14-1, I think that's a disrespectful price about him, and I think he's got a great chance of repeating his win in this race from last year. He's a horse that likes to be up with the pace, and if he gets into a prominent position under Frankie Dettori, I think his stamina can last him home. This race is over 7 furlongs, but he's an effective player over 7 furlongs and a mile, and I think he's got a good chance in this race tomorrow, and that's why he's going to be my nap. We then end with my next best, which runs in the 4:25 at Ascot with a horse called Staghorn for Adam McNamara and Archie Watson. Now, this horse you can currently back at 11 for with bookmakers at the moment, and I'm just going to recommend a win-only bet. Now, I was at Goodwood a couple of years ago when, actually it was last year, it wasn't a couple of years ago, it feels like a long time ago anyway, but I was at Goodwood last year when I saw Staghorn finish in 3rd in a maiden which featured the likes of Bondi Sands. And I've been going on a lot about Bondi Sands this season, you know, and it's frustrating because I actually put him up the first 2 times he run, and then I actually did back him when he won at Newmarket, but I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't put it up as a tip. But he ran in a race that Staghorn won last time at Goodwood. That they reopposed each other as a 3-year-old, and Staghorn was very, very impressive. He got raised, I think it was £6 for that win, but he was so keen throughout the race, and the further he kept going, the better, and he took an age to pull up at the end. The race last time was over 1.6 miles, and Staghorn, he just oozes stamina. He's got so much stamina on the dam side of his pedigree. He's by Golden Horn, you know, so he's bred for staying trips. And yeah, he's definitely an exciting horse. If you actually go back through some of his form as a 2-year-old, away from that Goodwood run, he actually bumped into Khalifa Stat, who finished second in the Epsom Derby, so that's a good level of form. He bumped into a horse of Alan King's called Midnight Legacy, who's won all his starts since, and is now rated 90 on the flat. So I think he's rated 82, and that's a good rate, a good form line, I think, with Midnight's Legacy. And you like to think he's still got a bit of time off his mark. I know Sir Mark Prescott has got a good horse in here. I think it's called Alphabetical, if I remember correctly, that's been going through some of the handicaps, you know. But this Staghorn, I think, has got bundles of potential, and at 11-4, I think he should be favourite for this race. I think he should be 2-1, and I think that represents a good bit of value. And for me, I just think he's the one they've all got to beat in this race tomorrow, and that's why he's going to be my final tip of the day. So I'll just recap my 5 tips quickly. In the 3:15 at Ascot, just go my extra tip, Mohaather. In the 3:15 at Ascot, 2-1 win only bet. In the 3:35 at Newmarket in the July Cup, I'm going to take a chance with my long shot with Sir Dancealot at 33-1 each way, 4 places. 3:50 at Ascot, then it's just an extra tip, Stone of Destiny at 10-1 each way with 5 places. My nap is in the 4:10 at Newmarket, the Bunbury Cup, going with Vale of Kent, 14-1 each way, 5 places. And then in the 4:25 at Ascot, I'm going with Staghorn, 11-4, win only bet, and that rounds things off for tomorrow. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos on my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Twitter as well, where my handle is @LuckyLoaders15. You can also check out my website if you want to find out a little bit more about myself, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. And that's all I've got to say. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.